It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
I dedicated so much time to working hard. I tripled that to submit the fact I don't work a job. My God, I was undervalued, underestimated, misunderstood. Had to sacrifice myself for them frankers like making good. Fuck it. Gave myself a budget, balancing funds and some crutches. Sit back and watch the industry when they smile, I can't trust it. Hit a 180, these artists in a 360. I plotted from watching Nipsey, I'm swinging like Jack Dipsy. Who these niggas playing? I got my fam in the shit like the Wans. It's like a wedding, how I vow to exchange with these bands. If I needed your help and I never got it, why you hitting up my line? The result could be catastrophic, yeah. I'm philanthropic, I figure fraudulent seeping through. Niggas can't read, so I can't expect them to read the room. Hard to smoke, it's really just feeding fuel. Fishing, I could feed a fool. Try me, you gon' eat from out a feeding tube. I played humble and never got what I wanted. When I start talking cash, the money just start coming. The laws of attraction ain't even outside, but I've been active. Not to mention the rapping, my pen game's scholastic. Southern underground, wavy is an ultrasound. Disrespect us, you get crescent kicked up in your mouth. Bow to my presence, my presidents take precedence. Nas told me hip-hop died, I gave him the EpiPen. I control all of this shit autonomous. Hacking niggas like Shaq or Anonymous. Y'all been sleeping on me. I'm on the island by myself like an ottoman, y'all. Don't make me fuck up your perception like Oculus, y'all. Freak styles like Akinelli. Nothing y'all can tell me. Thumbs up to murder, Fonzarelli. Buzzing hot as Nelly. Y'all can't compare me to these 2K niggas. I be drilling in your queen like them UK niggas.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. In this video, we're going to be talking about Nasty Nas. All right, he's got a new interview with Rolling Stone, and within that conversation with Rolling Stone, he actually brought up Kendrick Lamar in conversation and said that he is one of the brightest stars that we've ever seen in hip-hop. Bigger than a superstar. He said he's literally the North Star. He's one of those. All right. So what I'm going to do today in this video is actually go through the Rolling Stone interview, not just the Kendrick Lamar portion, although of course we are emphasizing that in this video, but I'm going to get to the entire conversation to see exactly what it is that Nas is talking about. We know that he has a lot of different things going on. Mass Appeal is working with a lot of the New York legends of yesteryear, those that came out in the early to mid 90s, doing projects with them. We've already got a Ghostface album this year. We've already got a Slick Rick album this year. We've already got a Raekwon the Chef album this year. I believe the next one up, or one of the next ones up, is a Big L album this year. You know what I'm saying? Which is going to be a big fucking deal too, especially for those who know Big L. It's not even, this wasn't even planned for me to have my New York shit on, but nonetheless, salute to the New York. Oh geez, I'm stumbling on my words. For putting in that work, getting out here, not complaining, and just getting to it. You know what I'm saying? I believe somebody like a Benny the Butcher could learn from a Nas. You know what I'm saying? Saying there's no voice of the streets. Who better than the street's disciple? You get what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and get into this Rolling Stone interview with Nas, shall we? And of course, this is text, so we're going to be reading it. This is our moment to have a reading club, so I hope you're prepared. All right. So it says, Nas wants the world to see hip-hop legends as superheroes. All right? And although y'all have heard me speak very highly of Jay-Z, he is my actual living goat, as I say. Nas, I pulled actually way more lyrical cues, wordplay cues from Nas. Jay is just like, you know, the entendres, the boss talk, you know. I love them both equally, pretty much, for different reasons. Okay, so the rap icon is spearheading a series of albums and comic books with Mass Appeal to give legendary acts their due. And if y'all don't know, Nas also is an artist, not just a rapper, but an artist, right? I think he started a comic book years ago, like a series. So cool. Since debuting in 1991 with a feature on Main Sources Live at the Barbecue, Nas has been intent on amplifying New York hip hop. His first full-length album, Illmatic, was an evolution in hip hop's lyricism, and his top-tier penmanship has powered a catalog of 17 solo albums. He's always paid respect to pioneers with songs like 2007's Where Are They Now, 80s Remix, allowing trailblazers like Kumo D, MC Shan, and Dana Dane to tell their stories, and also The Virgo with Slick Rick off of was that the Streets Disciple album? One of the lesser albums in his catalog, but still a dope collab. I think Luda was on that too, right? But Nas has a new project aimed at honoring more hip hop legends. Alongside the label Mass Appeal, Nas is dropping the Legend Has It album series, which includes releases from rap heavyweight Slick Rick, Raekwon, and Ghostface Killah, and Mobb Deep. The new Mobb Deep album is out as well. I missed that in the intro. A posthumous record from Big L is out on Halloween, with LPs from De La Soul. Oh shit! As well as DJ Premier, a joint DJ Premier and Nas project on the horizon, which people have been waiting on for over 30 years. Hold on, y'all, I'm freezing in the corner. And I really hope we get at least one appearance from AZ on there, because people have been waiting on the Nas and AZ collab album as well. But shit, the Primo and Nas album, hopefully we get an appearance from Sosa on that bitch. Anyway, he says, you would think that was a sound that you no longer hear again, but that sound lives in all hip-hop music, Nas says. Mass Appeal has also partnered with Marvel on a Legend Has It comic, immortalizing the acts in the series as superheroes. The first issue, written by Brandon Thomas and drawn by Sanford Green, debuted at Comic-Con in October, with more issues to follow. Every artist that's on his Marvel cover was once comic book fans, so for all of us, it's one of the coolest things, Nas said. Nas talked to Rolling Stone from Los Angeles and shared details about the Legend Has It series, his decades-long career, and why he sees artists as superheroes. So they say, what does it mean to be able to amplify your peers and predecessors with this series? He says, in hip-hop music, you got different age groups, different cities, countries that have their own section of hip-hop all over the world. That's a fact. It's finally become a global thing. And when I was a kid, is hip-hop global was the question. Is it just a New York to LA thing? Is it just America or just London? Some of the grown-ups didn't understand it or believe it would last. Not only did it last, it became a worldwide thing. So to play any part in it today, this year, 2025, is a dream come true. I'm going to put a pin in that, because remember, the big talk back in the days, back in the 80s, was hip-hop is a fad. This is just a trend. This is just something, it's going to be here and gone, right? This will be gone in 5 years. They felt like hip-hop was low-key like an NFL career, but as a genre itself, not just as a rapper having a career, but just the genre they expected to be gone in 5 years, right? And now we've extended that life to over 50. So yeah, it's a big fucking deal. Was there a specific moment that made you realize hip-hop was global? He said, when Run DMC did the Live Aid concert with all these artists performing to raise money for famine in Ethiopia. I think the show happened in London, and they were probably the only rap group on the show with rock groups like Queen and everybody. I knew at that point they had opened the door so that hip-hop could become global. How did the Mass Appeal and Marvel comic books happen? He said, that's another thing I think we just manifested, being fans of Marvel, which has been a part of my life since I don't even know when. It kind of speaks to the writer in me who would read these things, and it would spark my imagination, and I would draw my own comic books in color and create the stories. As I was saying before, I had a name. I can't remember the name of my company. I was probably 9 years old, 10 years old. They asked, did you have a favorite Marvel character growing up? He said, Wolverine. I am Iron Man, that's Ghostface right there all day long. Spider-Man, Magneto, the Hulk. Pretty much the typical. You know, Wolverine always captivated kids. Me personally, I was definitely into Deadpool. My older cousin got me locked in with Deadpool in the comic books way before there was ever a thought for a movie. Anyway, what are some of the similarities in the way that comic book creators and rappers create worlds? Artists, in a sense, are superheroes because they help people get through tough times. They lift people up It's the music in the gym when people are becoming superheroes. I had a song called Superhero Status, and it's just about everybody has a superhero in them. You have to tap into it, reach that level of positivity. They ask, have you ever thought about what you would want your superpower to be? He says, yeah, man, we let the world know October 10th. It's all in there, built on the character based off of me. So there will be a Nas character, and we'll see what the superpower is. Do you have creative input on the comic book? He says, every one of us had a bunch of questions and a bunch of ideas, and we put it together. We put together what we felt would be the best representation of us and a comic book superhero. Didn't Method Man used to do comic books shit too when he was young? What do you think the Legend Has It series conveys about the classic New York sound? He says it's 1995 all over again. Sometimes I feel like 2025 has that feeling. It's not going backwards, it's going forward though. It's that feeling of urgency, that vibration, the celebration of life. And these songs and these albums, what they meant 30 years ago, is still thriving right now. Even from younger people, they're all derivatives of that early sound. That's a very interesting take. And these artists here from Slick Rick, he is the reason that all of us even have a pen in our hands. You look at him and you think of Mobb Deep, and you think of Raekwon and Ghostface. De La Soul is some of the most different, brave, bold, intelligent hip-hop music ever made. That's a fact. Street niggas bringing intelligence and their background to the music. And they had the joints. And of course, we lost some of our brothers along the way, but we're still represented for them. And they still representing themselves through the series. It's a celebration of a great impact, a standard that they set we can never forget because it keeps us aiming higher. This series is to encourage and inspire hip-hop and remind us all of the pureness of hip-hop. I hope that we all can do this together. I really like that, speaking on the pureness of hip-hop. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, regardless of what our opinions are, who we like, who you side with, who you have an affinity for, whose music got you through tough times, or whose music you listen to during celebratory moments in your life or whatever it is, we're all commiserating on behalf of hip-hop. It should not be so much vitriol. You get what I'm saying? This is a medium and an art form that was used not only to purge pain, but also to have an escape from the bullshit. Here they ask, how's your project with DJ Premier coming along? Of course, everybody wants to know that. He says, I can't wait for people to finally hear it. I don't know about anybody else, but for me and him, it was personally a long time coming for us to do it. Through the years, y'all have spoken about being in the studio, possibly working on a project. How many songs or ideas from those periods have carried over to what we're going to hear soon? He says, wow, that's a dope question. I'm going to say at least 2 of those ideas happened on this album. We didn't get a chance to do them when we were talking about them, but we finally got a chance to put those recordings together this year. Okay, so we will get a couple of ideas that were originally put together in the 90s, 2000s, probably revamped with all new raps and updated production, but stuff that they got started on. They say Mobb Deep's album is coming out October 10th. Okay, so it's, the whole album will be out on the 10th. But I know they had like a single that they dropped recently. Can you speak to the legacy of Mobb Deep and Prodigy specifically? What is the rap world missing without Prodigy being here physically? He says Prodigy's one of the best. It's unfortunate that he's not here because he was a presence in hip-hop that was heavy. He still is, for sure, for various reasons. You know what I mean? For getting on his bullshit and saying who the fuck listens to Joe Budden and Saigon, to extending the olive branch and making peace with those very same brothers, to talking about the Illuminati and, you know, all types of things of that nature. Like, he was a very compelling person, putting out books, talking about old stories that fucking threw the entire Queens in a tizzy, right? He was just a man that loved to tell a story. I'll tell you that much. In whatever capacity it came about. And if push came to shove, he'll rock you in your face. You know what I'm saying? Stab your brain with your nose bone. Anyway. He says he still is. Their albums are classic albums, and people throw that word around too loosely, but these guys made serious music. And Prodigy's raps It was some of the best top tier MCing we've ever heard, and for Havoc to give us Prodigy today, for Prodigy's family to give us Prodigy today, is a blessing to all of our ears because he brings us back to when shit was high level, top tier MCing, which I think a lot of people are craving. But it's not just about the MCing, it's about being at the highest form of that shit, making good records. What are some of your favorite moments of Prodigy the person? He says there's a picture that I want to get blown up. It's like Prodigy's about to tell me something and I'm looking off into the distance. We were in New York. Every time we would see each other in the type of environment that was a show or something like that, it was a together feeling, like we in this together. In the song Eye for an Eye, as time goes by, an eye for an eye, we in this together, son, your beef is mine. Outside of that, we were different. Wasn't seeing each other. But when we seen each other in a music place where there's live, and we would communicate there, me, him, have. It would be brief, but it would be a happy family moment. Right? What does it mean to you to be able to drop the Big L project and potentially introduce his music to a newer generation? He says Big L was always ahead of his time. There's some quotes out there from me about Big L, like how terrifyingly good that he was, that made me step my game up. We were both signed to Columbia Records, and I think the world never got a chance to get Big L the way they wanted him. That's true. He didn't live long enough, unfortunately. It's a blessing to have this celebration of him, and it's a reminder that there's different variants of hip-hop, and they're all dope. But when it comes to lyricists, Big L's the standard. Yeah, especially when it comes to the punchline. Big L was the punchline nigga. Shout out to Lord Finesse as well. But Big L was the punchline nigga, and he had different flows. He was one of them niggas that could be rapping at a standard tempo and then just go and it would be fucking fire what he's saying. Like some niggas, like even Jay-Z early shit when he was trying to do that, it was like novelty. It was like a you know, a trick. But Big L, when he would start tongue twisting and doing that double time flow, he would actually pack that shit with bars. A lot of people are safe out there and rap because Big L's no longer around. There's a lot of stuff floating around today that's really not good. Tell me about it. This album will remind you that it's not about hype, it's about art. And that's what Big L's doing with this album, reminding the world, reminding New York, that even though there's different styles that you should do and play with, which are very dope, never forget what this shit comes from. The root of this shit is serious talent. He said, could you speak to De La Soul's legacy and their upcoming project? These dudes from Long Island had a different perspective, almost hippies in hip-hop. I actually hate the way that they're seen as hippies in hip-hop, because fuck with them niggas if you want to. The hardest dude on the street was blown away by De La Soul because their expression gave us multiple colors through music. They had something that spoke to us the first time we ever saw television, heard music. It was all wrapped in the imagination of Posnos and Maceo. Pos the News, excuse me. You've done features on every album that's dropped so far. Did you give any specific direction of the vibe you wanted to rhyme on, or did they all just kind of happen organically? He says it happened organic. I didn't know that I would even be asked to get on all of these songs. These are serious artists working on their art. I was very respectful and fanning out and enjoying the moments like a family with them every time I could get with them. That's dope. You know, because some people might try to force their way on your shit, you know, start throwing they weight around. It's on my label, nigga, let me get a verse. He like, shit, man, I want y'all to do what y'all do. They like, nah, nigga, come join in on the fun. He says, I was happy to get a call to get on a song. I thought me and Premier would probably be out this summer. I didn't know that I would have a chance to get on these albums. I can't believe it. I'm sitting here like, is this real? I gotta pinch myself. I'm honored to be able to rock next to these guys, try to hold my own next to them because how ill these dudes is. It's like, man, I'm trying to keep up. Crazy to hear Nas saying he's trying to keep up with anybody. They say, do you anticipate the Legend Has It series being an annual thing, or are you just focusing on this year and seeing where things go? Great question. He says, a lot of people are asking, what's next year? There's a lot of suggestions. Do the South, do the West. Whoa, do London, do this. But it has to be natural. We decided on this last year. We've already been ahead of it. Whatever does happen, it will be something that we're invested in and feel that it would be the right thing. So it's nothing I can speak on at the moment, unfortunately. It will be interesting to see like where they go next. And I don't think it necessarily has to be a regional thing every year. But just I think New York was naturally first. That's where Nas is from. That's where the foundation. They were the original mecca of hip hop. Definitely reach out, you know. But it would be very interesting to see what a Mass Appeal project from somebody on the West Coast or from the South would look like, and who would you choose? You know what I'm saying? Would it be a solo act, a duo? Would it be a new group consisting of, you know, separate artists coming together on some like Mount Westmore type shit, but different, you know? Be interesting to see where they go with it. How do you feel like your definition of success has evolved over the years? He says, I feel like we all just want to do our best. I always felt like I had so much to offer to the art form and to my people. I honestly love to see people running in the right direction. If they see what I'm doing and it inspires them, then we win. If I can reach somebody all the way in Soweto with my moves and they're inspired, then we win. It shows you whatever you dream of, it can be fulfilled, and with positive energy, warrior energy, it's a beautiful thing. I just want to be that. I'm always trying to learn something new, and I like when we all learn something together and then show what we learned. In your documentary, chronicling the hip-hop show Video Music Box, shout out to them, you mentioned almost starting a crew with Biggie called Goodfellas. Oh my fucking goodness. Just imagine if Nas and Biggie got together and did some shit. That would have been monumental, especially at that time. Boy. But there was tension. What do you remember about that? Were there any plans to drop music as a duo? He says, no, we didn't get that far. It was just like, yo, let's go with this. So life took us into different things. I went where I went. He went all the way with Bad Boy. And he built up what he built up. So we were definitely talking about it, but we never got to follow through. The wind just grabbed us and it was over. We was just going separate directions. Excuse me. Damn. Your 2006 song, Hip Hop is Dead, critiqued your era's hip hop ecosystem like Kendrick Lamar's Watch the Party Die. All right, so here we go. Did more recently. What overlap do you see? So they're likening Hip Hop is Dead, right? If y'all can remember that whole rollout, Nas was at a point where he was fed up with the shit, right? He was pissed at the Soulja Boys. He was pissed at a lot of motherfuckers. He was pissed with niggas of his era. He felt like niggas was not focusing on the art form, on the craft, and they were letting this shit die. So then they bring up Watch the Party Die by Kendrick Lamar, which came out last year, where he was looking at our times and basically saying that some of you motherfuckers ain't gonna make it to the next frontier. Some of you niggas are gonna have to go. Okay? And it is what it is. So, Nas says, we all as artists love this art form and have our opinions on it. Kendrick is one of the brightest stars we've ever seen. And I don't only mean superstar, I mean like the North Star, right? And of course, the North Star is a star for guidance, giving direction. He says, I think he's one of those. Out of all the artists in this business, there's some that's not here for the art. When we see those people that are not here for the art damaging it, you're hurting the future of the art. So I think artists like Kendrick are going to speak out. Big facts. He's been speaking out, although he doesn't speak much. He speaks through his music. There's a couple of them out there, younger, older, that say what they say. I think there was an Outkast video. One of those guys wore a Hip Hop is Dead t-shirt even before I said it. I didn't see that till later. It's just been in the conversation naturally. Like any sport, you want to thrive. You don't want the NBA to start slowing down. You want it to thrive. The ball players want it to thrive. We're going to call out anytime we see it. Sometimes the rest of us won't see it. Sometimes it'll take Kendrick to remind us where we are lacking. And I like how Nas is likening this to like sports and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You want your sport to continue to thrive. You don't want this shit to be on a downturn and then we got to figure shit out. Like let's be proactive in figuring out our direction. We know where we've been, we know where we at, but where do we go from here? And some of you motherfuckers can't go. Some of you motherfuckers that been eating, y'all been yeah. Take your last snack. This will be your final meal. Okay? You've been eating steaks, all this shit. You will now be eating graham crackers. Bitch. There have been recent headlines about how you and Jay-Z are both trying to build casinos in New York. And of course, we saw how that worked out. He says, they say your bid moved forward and it sparked more Jay-Z versus Nas debates among your fan bases. Why do you think some fans still keep tally on that years after y'all have been cool? He says, it is just a thing that some people are going to talk about. No one has any control over things like that. I still study Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Of course, if y'all don't know, Big Daddy Kane and Rakim were constantly compared, contrasted. They were two of the leaders in lyricism in the late 80s. They pushed the art form forward and influenced generations. Some rap fans just like to go off on those things from time to time. That's it. So he says, don't read into it. People are always going to compare. We still look at Rakim and Big Daddy Kane the same way. I saw a report last year that you were working on a memoir with Torre. I was wondering what was the catalyst. He says, false, not true. I'm not working on any books. Damn. Shut that shit down. Me and Senate. Okay. Shout out to him. We did build on it years ago, but I'm not ready to do any books. Okay, so it was an idea, but he definitely has put that on indefinite hold. Would you consider doing something like that down the line, like a book or a biopic that explores your timeline? He says, yeah, definitely. It'll be cool because reading is fundamental. And when you see somebody like the Vanderbilt's books written about them, you can't think of they're huge and you're small. You got to realize that we all can be as great as we want to be. Never downplay your story, never gas your story, never hype up your story, never lie just to have a story. But I'm still writing my book by living my life. I think next year will probably be totally different than this year. So he says I need more time before I start being super reflective. I'm still active, baby. They say, do you still anticipate dropping a Lost Tapes 3? Lost Tapes 3. He says, a producer asked me the other day about that, and I can't call it yet. I have to look around in another year or two and see what I have laying around, and then I can determine, okay? Because remember, Lost Tapes typically aren't supposed to be like a dedicated album. It's supposed to be records that are just kind of sitting, collecting dust on the hard drives. And of course, in order to have those types of archives, you have to be constantly creating. So I guess he got to go back and, just look at everything that's been getting done and not being put out. All right, I think we're at the final question here. It says, I saw that you rapped about AI, which is a super controversial topic, on your song Speechless Part 2. I was wondering if you had any more thoughts about AI in the music industry and society in general. He says it's something you can't stop when it comes to society. In music, I'm not a fan of AI artists. You and I both, my dog. But who am I to say things? It's not my business, really, that people do what they do, but AI in society is something that's already happening, and the possibilities from AI is like people didn't trust microwaves. People don't trust technology naturally, but AI is probably going to be something that people learn because it's being used in our daily lives now on many levels that most of us don't even realize. Okay? So it sounds like Nas isn't necessarily against AI. It's against AI artists, which I think most of us can, at bare minimum, agree on. Not all, because I do think that there are some people who try to put this idea of the creativity of an AI artist before everything else. Like, man, we got to explore this. We got to see it out, man. Fuck that shit. But he also said, hey, sometimes, you got to look at what the past has done. We were skeptical about other technological advances. Maybe this is something we can learn and figure it out. But as far as AI artists, fuck them niggas, man. Like, We're supposed to be the voices. We're supposed to be the writers. We're supposed to be doing this from a place of reality, telling our stories. We get out of telling our stories and allow some fucking make-believe creation to come tell stories for us. What is the validity in our stories? We lived them. Fuck that shit. But shout out to Nas. Shout out to Mass Appeal for everything that they've been doing. And super respect to Nas for showing Kendrick even more love. You know what I'm saying? Won the Super Bowl and Nas the only one. Congratulate me. Now we still have Nas today. Still showing love to Kendrick Lamar. So that's always welcome. Always a good subject and a great interview from Rolling Stone, man. You know, Nas ain't a man of many words. He don't do a lot of interviews these days, but when he does, he always got something to say. All right, let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. This is your first time seeing me on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy cause consulting for the stacks I built. I had to